Hey guys, this is Arthur, and you are watching How to Draw Creepy Creatures. Now, I actually got a request from Creeper Skirm to draw a creature from German folklore called Der Großmann. It translates from German as the tall man. Anyway, it's a tall, thin entity, vaguely humanoid with no face, sometimes shown with 8 limbs, and it's immortal but can only sustain its immortality by eating a child every 100 years. So, pretty creepy. Okay, let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to start with the top of the head. Going to do a strong emphasis on the rib cage. I don't know what it is with German creatures, but they tend to be very scary, mostly because there's a lot of influence from other cultures, such as there's a lot of Muslim influence in German folklore, also even Asian influence a little bit, so it's kind of like a cultural mashup of different folk tales and beliefs, which makes it very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Seriously, if you thought the witch from Hansel and Gretel was a scary German creature, wait till you see this, okay? I'm gonna make it kind of crouched on the feet, kind of like they're human legs, but they're not right. He's using them kind of like a spider's legs, so the feet should kind of be in a very unnatural position. I would imagine he kind of walks like that. In fact, with the thing with the multiple limbs, it kind of makes you wonder if Christian Germans maybe saw Indian artwork, such as like their gods or something, and incorporated it into a monster just because it looked very alien to them. So I don't really know the history behind it, but that's just what I wonder when looking at this. Gonna have this hand kind of like reaching out a little bit. Alright, that's what we got so far. Now remember, there's not a lot of meat, so only add minimal muscle. Kind of draw the tendons. In fact, I did some research on this beforehand. I don't really know whether or not this is implied to supposed to be a person, but or have once been a person. It would be interesting if that's what it was. Kind of like in exchange for this infernal version of eternal life, you have to give up all of your humanity, which would be interesting. In fact, since it doesn't have a face, I'm actually going to have it holding a mask, kind of like it makes itself look more like a person in order to lull people into a false sense of security. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's pretty creepy. I'm really glad these things don't exist because I've always wanted to visit Germany, and if these things lived there, I don't think I would go. Alright, there we go. That's what we got so far. Now, let's erase. I'm going to start with the legs for the finer details. Okay. Remember, you want the feet to look very skeletal. I kind of imagine like overgrown toenails. Makes you wonder, though, that if it only eats a child once every 100 years, then what does it do with the rest of its time? Does it just, like, hibernate or something? Yeah. That's the thing I like about these legends, is that they leave you with a lot of questions, and you can fill in the blanks with your imagination. Okay. Probably the German creature that scared me the most when I was a kid would be the red-legged scissor man. Yeah, if you don't know what that is, look that up. That used to give me nightmares. Okay. Alright. Okay. In fact, I don't really like how this thigh doesn't look quite even with the other one. Okay. Kind of makes you wonder how it would be able to eat said children if it doesn't have a face, but that's the thing about these stories. You have to allow a certain suspension of disbelief when it comes to the anatomy of the creatures. Alright, let's make the mask like extra creepy, kind of just like a happy little child's face, so that it looks completely innocuous. Like, this is kind of reminding me of a No Face from Spirited Away a little bit. Okay. Alright, let's make the nails like really long and crooked. A little bit of shading in the eyes there. You kind of imagine in order to operate these arms, have to have extra pectoral muscles here, so we're going to draw a little extra. In fact, in some depictions from medieval bestiaries, the Großmann is sometimes portrayed as a giant skeleton with all these extra limbs. I kind of feel like giving it flesh is a little bit scarier. I can't really say why, but it just is. There we go. Okay. Yeah. In fact, it's kind of like the Jurogumo has a date now. Somebody similar enough to her. Imagine their conversation would begin. Oh, you eat people? What a coincidence. So do I. Alright. Now, the face is supposed to be featureless, but I think we should give it, like, pits almost where you could imagine the eyes would be, and the other features, like the nose. We'll do most of these with shading. Okay. really hope the mouth isn't between all those legs at like the bottom, like an octopus or something, because that would just be gross. Right. Alright, let's get the in fact, I don't really like the shading around here. Looks a little bit too much like hair, so I'm going to go back over it with smooth, steady circles. Alright. Alright, we lost a little bit of detail, so we're going to fill this in. Okay. Alright, and sign off with your artist part. Okay, and you have just drawn Der Großmann. Alright, like, share, and subscribe. And I love hearing your comments and recommendations. So if there's a specific creature you want me to draw, you can leave it in the comments. I'm looking for Halloween creatures right now. So if you have a favorite Halloween creature, just send it, put it in the comments. And anybody who finished a lesson on this show and wants to show off your artwork, send it to arthurwrotethis@gmail.com. As long as you include your written permission in the email, I'll show it off on the show with your name so everybody knows that you did it. All right, thanks so much for watching, you guys, and goodbye.